नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्य कृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शंकरं लोकशङ्करम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शांति मंत्रम। ओम वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेति वेदस्य माणिस्तः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्ददामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम्। ओम शांति शांति शांति। In the last class we saw that yatra ekam bhavanti, that place, or that, can't say even place, where there is only one. That is how the Upanishad started. Atma va idam eka eva agre asit. So that is the place which was referring to when yatra ekam bhavanti. Tatra nasti asti nasti ekam nana gunam agunam janati na janati kriyavat akriyam halavat alavat phalam sabijam nirbijam sagunam nirgunam sukham dukkham madhyamam amadhyamam shunyam ashunyam paraha aham anyaha. All these type of statements of duality, how can that be there where there is only one? And the Upanishads, all of them without exception, has only one thing to say, that neti neti. Whatever we say is not this, not this. Because yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasa saha. Because where the words have limitations, or where the words fail to describe that, and what cannot be conceived or even imagined, aprapya manasa saha, even with the mind, when it is not reachable, that is the state, and that is now being said ko adhaveda. I mean, who is there to realize it? Because there is none other than you. You are that one, tad tvamasi. And that you cannot describe yourself. Who are you when it is asked? All those statements which we can make with words or by mind as a sankalpa or imagination, it will not take us there. So how do we say that you can realize it? When the realizing one and the one, when the what is to be realized becomes one, because tatra ekam bhavanti. Yatra na anyat pashyati anyat shrunoti anyat vijanati. This is what the Chandogya Upanishad said that. So ityadri mantra varnat, what happens is that there is no way one can make a statement, mama atmedi vedanam. Or how can see how does the Upanishad say, Atmasa mama atmeri vidyam. How do I know that it is Atma? How do I know my Atma? And the Upanishads are saying that you should know your Atma. Here comes the beauty of Shankara's explanatory nature. He starts it, Atra Akhyayikam Achakshate. Let us resort to a story. When it cannot be explained in plain words, nor by imagination, or even by in all the modes of knowledge, yet sakshat aparokshat brahma. That is the most immediate, is our own experience of ours, our own nature, or who we are. And when this cannot be explained by words, nor by the imaginative methods, all the methods of knowing, like pratyaksha, anuvana, upamana, arthapatti, anupalabdhi, all those things, like there are 6 methods of knowing things. And all the methods will fail when you want to know yourself. Because it cannot be inferred, it cannot be directly experienced as pratyaksha, it cannot be arthapatti, it cannot be anupalabdhi, or any of the 6 methods through which you can imagine as accepted means of knowledge, you cannot reach there. Then the only method is telling a story. In the story, there is hidden the method. This is what Shankaracharya mentioned in the beginning of the thing, that where there is no way to explain things, the intended meaning and the apparent meaning, if one cannot make the difference between these two, the apparent meaning and the intended meaning can be explained only through a story. To make this understand, he is entering into a story. So let us listen to the story first, and then we will analyze it. Kaschit kila manushyah mugdaha kaichit uktaha kasminchit aparade sati diktham nasi manushya iti. Once upon a time, mugdaha manushyah, a dull-headed human being or a dull-headed person, to him, kaichit uktaha, the other person said that, Kansit aparade sati, he did some mistake. Because let us imagine a yajamana and a britya, or a master and a disciple, or a servant. The servant does a mistake, and he is a dull-headed person. Diktham manushya nasi iti. Dikta means it is. You are in an incorrigible muff, or some sort of a ridiculing is being told to him that you are not a human being. Nasi manushya, asi means tvam manushya nasi. You are not a human being. Diktam means pity upon you. This is the word he makes the statement. Sa mugdataya atmanaha manushyatvam prayayayitum kinchit kanchit upahatyaha bravitu bhavan koham asmiti. Mugdataya, due to his dull intellect, atmano manushyatvam prayayayitum, to know whether I am a human being or not, because my master told that I am not a human being, because it is shame upon me that to call myself as a human being. This is the way in which he ridiculed me or scolded me. So he goes to another person and asks, Pravitu, please tell me, Bhavan, hey, sir, can you please tell me, Koham Asmidi, who am I? Now this other person, not knowing what exactly has happened, understood from the very question he is asking that he must be a dull-headed person to ask a question, Koham Asmidi, who am I? That question being asked should be asked by a dull-headed person, because doesn't he know who he is? Sa tasya mugdatam jnatva aha kramena bodhayishyami iti. Sa tasya mugdatam. This person, realizing the dullness of this person, jnatva, aha means uttered or told. Kramena bodhayishyami iti. I will tell you in time to come. Now, let us take it for the time being that this is between a guru and a shishya. So, he says that he went to another guru and asking the same question. So, this guru says, oh, you have spent 12 years with the previous guru. Now, spend some more time here in this my ashram also. I will tell you over a period of time when you are ripe to know this thing. I will tell you. Tavaradya atma bhavam apohya na tvam manushyaha ityukta upararama. He stayed and spent the time as requested by the second person, and having spent that apohya, having spent that time, the second master says, na tvam manushyaha. You are na tvam amanushyaha. You are not a inhuman. After having said that, Upararama means he withdrew. He didn't say that who he is. He just said that you are not an inhuman or not a human being. That you are not a human being. Satam mugdaha pratyaha bhavan ma bodayitum pravrittam tushnim babuva kim na bodayati. You are supposed to tell me who am I. You didn't tell me, Mugdha, Pratyaha, he questioned him, Bhavan, yes sir, Mam Bodhaidam Pravrittaha Tushnim Babuva. You started to tell me that I am not a inhuman being and you became quiet. Kimna Bodhayadi. Why are you not telling me who am I in the indirect words? Iti. Tadrigeva tad bhavatavo vachanam. Now, this is exactly how we are all. Shankaracharya is saying that we are all dull-headed human being like this person particularly. Now look at this one. The first master whom we was there is our Guru. He said that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not this thing, you are not a human being. Now, when we hear only we are not a human being, we feel ridiculed as if, why are we told that I am not a human being? I am looking like a human being. I am walking like a human being. I am doing all actions like a human being. Why is my master saying I am not a human being? Because he wanted to tell him what he really is. Only when he is told that he is not a human being, he will start thinking who he is or what is my real nature. But because we are all dull-headed, we goes to the second guru and asks. The second guru also tells you spend time with him. So there the second guru says that Tvam amanushya naha. You are not an inhuman being, or not. Don't think that you are not a human being. Please don't think that you are not a human being. Means you are a human being. It can be meant like that. You are not a human being, or you are a human being. When the second master says that, the immediate thought for all of us is thinking, oh, the second master confirmed that amanushya. I am not a, I should not be worried whether I am a human being or not. We will be very happy with that answer. But the second master also didn't say that you are not amanushya doesn't mean you are a manushya. But that is the intended meaning and apparent meaning. So when we take the apparent meaning, we will think we are human being. But the intended meaning by the Guru is different. What is that? Tvam na amanushya. You may look like a human being, but you are not a human being. So what happens is that we cannot look at our own self from the way in which Upanishads are telling us. Tadrigeva Bhagavatat Bhagavata Vachanam. This is exactly what happens to all of us. Na asya manushya ityuktopi manushyattvam atmanoho na pradipadyate yaha saha kadam manushyaha asi ityuktopi manushyattvam atmanaha pradipadyeta. How can such a person understand atmanaha manushyattvam tum manushyaha iti? If somebody directly says that you are human being, that person cannot understand that a human being because he is not even looking at the way in which it is being told. You are not a human being when it is told. What happens is that he immediately starts thinking something else. That if I am not a human being, what am I? What the teacher wanted to say is that you are not a human being. That question should come in the mind that who am I? If I am not a human being, then who am I? Or what am I? That question should come. No. He wanted to establish that I am a human being, for which he goes to the second master. Tasmat yatha shastra upadesha evam atma bodha viti na anyaha. This is exactly how the Shastra or the Upanishad is teaching us. Na hi agner dahyam trinadi anyena kenachid dyagdum shakyam. Now he is giving a simile. Trinam means the grey, what you call, hay or grass, dry grass. Trinam means the dry grass. The dry grass can be burned only by fire. We have the 5 elements, Akasha, Adi, Panja, Murta, Panja Dravyas. So, out of that, only fire can do the burning. Neither water, nor the earth, nor the space, nor the Akasha, Vayu. None of them can burn other than Agni. Same is the case in the Shastra. What it is being taken is that here, Atha eva shastram atmaswarupam bodhayitum pravrittam san amanushyatva pradibodhanena neti neti ityukta upararama. That is why the Upanishad is saying neti neti. Because it cannot directly say who you are or who we are. So the Upanishad has to resort to what we otherwise will think who we are. We can think we are the body. We can think we are the sense organs. We can think that mano indriya, antakarana. Or if you are thinking the Panchakosha Viveka, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, all those koshas we can think anyway. Or Jagrat, we are the person in the Jagrat, we are the person in the dream, we are in the person in the deep sleep. All these things are possible for us to understand. Think that we are that. But Upanishad says that, neti neti. Whatever we can think by mind or by imagination or sankalpa, it is Bhranti Nimittam. It is due to the delusion that we are thinking who we are. Even the word Atma and Brahman which we are using is a Bhranti in the form of Nama, Rupa. Nama is that Satyat Jnanam Anandam Brahma is the Lakshana Vakya. So, there are two ways in which normally Upanishad is teaching us. By direct means or by indirect means. Even the direct means, like Satyajnana Anandam Brahma, that is Swarupa Lakshanam, what they call it as. It is the nature of Atma. But what we know as Satyam, Jnanam, Anandam is still within the mental capabilities of the mind for imagination. We have an imagination of what is infinity. Even though infinity cannot be imagined, we somehow have an imagination of infinity. Same for eternity. Anything which is there, which is possible for us to imagine, some imaginative capacity we will use to bring it within the limits of imagination. But Upanishad wants us to understand it as neti neti. Even that is not Atma. So, na anda prajnam, na bahi prajnam, na uveda prajnam, na aprajnam, na prajnana ghanam. So all sorts of this prajna itself he is removing in the statement when the Upanishad says that. So one way you can say all the prajna which has been defined, which you can think otherwise. Okay, when we took Mandukya Upanishad, we specified it with Jagra Swapna Sushupti. But in the light of Aitareya Upanishad, when everything is Bhranti Nimittam, because all dualities, Asti, Nasti, Nirgunam, Sagunam, Sabijam, Nirbijam, everything is mental sankalpa only. So, we cannot say that we know who we are or we can make any sorts of imagination that, my experience, in my experience I knew who I am. No. If it is experienced, you are still an experiencer. You experienced yourself, then you are in the imagination. So in all these methods in which we can, neti neti is the only way in which Upanishad can tell you. And Upanishad, Ityukta Upararama means after telling neti neti, it doesn't tell what you are or what we are. It just has no words. Yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasa saha. So what is the method in which the Upanishad can show us the means? Only by removing what is possible for imagination. That is why the story The second master says, Na amanushyaha. Do not think that you are a amanushya, you are not a human being. Doesn't mean that you are a human being. No. Neti neti. So, the Acharya says, Tata anandaram abahyam. Now it gives contradictory terminologies. We have what is thinking that Atma is inside the body. So it is, we will think anandaram, means within, deep inside us is Atma. We will still not know who we are. We will think Atma is inside us. Anandaram abahyam. It is neither inside nor outside. So we cannot think about Atma as, residing in the body. Then it is outside? No. Abahyam. It is not outside. I am Atma Sarvanubhu. This Atma is the experiencer of everything. Brahma Sarvanubhu. The experiencer of everything means I am the experiencer. Everything is being known to me. Therefore, I am the experiencer. So I am Brahma. So that is when the confirmation comes, it is a sankalpa, again imagination. So immediately it will say neti neti. Not that, what you are thinking then. Ityanuशासनम. That is the way it is. Then tattvamasi. Or in the Brihadaranya as well as in the Ishavasya saying, Yatra tu asya at sarvam atmaiva bhut tena tam khashyet. That is the time when the Upanishads ask you a question. Sarvam atmaiva bhut. When you become everything, when you have become everything, kena kam pashyet. Who will know what? Yatra means at that state when you know yourself. This is the culminating statement because before that, all those statements are there. Amanda, Amada, Mata, Manta, Shrota, Ashrota, Drishta, Adrishta. All those things are being told in the beginning. After that, another thing. Yatra tu asya sarvam atma eva abhut. When by experience you become everything. Abhut means become. Tat kenakam pashyet. At that moment, can you see anything? Everything that it's the sankalpa or the imagination which we think that we have become everything, that imagination also is being knocked down by the Upanishads by saying tat kenakam pashyet. At that moment, how can you see something other than yourself? Or how will you see something other than yourself? Taking us back to the Chandogya Upanishad statement. Yatra na anyat pasyati anyat shrunoti anyat vijanati. Where you don't hear anything, where you do not see anything, where you do not know anything. That state, tatra kenakam pashyati. So even if at this moment, if you bring any sort of imagination or any sort of ideation, any sort of notion, all those things can be knocked down by neti neti. Then can it be not known? What does the Upanishads want us to do that? Tatra kenakam pashet. How can you see something you are other than you when you have become everything? And that is the statement which Acharya made in the previous paragraph. Yatra ekam bhavanti. Atma va eka eva agre asit. Only Atma was there in the beginning, or Brahma was there in the beginning. The word Atma and Brahma is not of what it is. It is you are what it is. That is your nature, not what you think. That neti will have to operate at that level. And you have to say that, not that. Any objectification, either by notion, imagination, ideation, any words that comes in the mind in the form of thoughts, forms, names, everything will have to be negated. That is the tatra ekam eva bhavanti. That is the state where the oneness or the non-dual nature of everything. There is no everything there. But I have to use the word everything because I have to use words to explain that. So, yavad ayam eva yatokta mimam imam atmanam naveti tavad ayam brahma anitya adrishti lakshanam upadi atmatvena apotya avidyaya upadi dharmana atmano manyamanoha brahmadi stamba paryandeshu स्थानेषु पुनः पुनरावर्तमानः अविद्या काम कर्म वशात् samsarati. If in this manner yatoktam imam atmanam naveti, if you do not understand the atma as now explained, yavad, until that time, ayam eva yatoktam imam atmanam naveti, tavad, till then, ayam brahma, no, ayam, tavad ayam bahya anitya drishti lakshanam upadimatvam upadim atmatvena apotya. This is a tongue twister word. Tavad ayam, till then, bahya anitya drishti. With the external vision, lakshanam upadim atmatvena apotya. All the identification or adjectives which you can think with drishti, by the bahya drishti, by the external means of our projecting externally. Avidyaya, due to these are all coming due to avidya, because you do not know your nature. Upadi dharmana atmano manyamanaha. Upadi dharma dharmanatmano. Upadi dharmana atmanaha manyamanaha bahyadi brahmadi stamba paryandeshu sthaneshu. That is from the Brahma, that means here Prajapati or Hiranyagarbha, from that till the stamba paryandeshu means the most insignificant atom. Paryandeshu, sthaneshu. In those places, manyavanaha avidya upadhi nimittam. Due to the avidya upadhi nimittam, due to the dependency on the ignorance, we are now using the externalizing of from Prajapati to the atom. The Stamba Paryandeshu means to the Stamba means a stone, a post. So what is it is the method in which it is used, that is from the creator to the grain, or to the most insignificant creator. Punah punah vartamanaha avidya kama karma vashat samsarati. We will be, until we know this nature of our Atma, our nature, true nature, what we think due to the ignorance, we are projecting by sankalpa, by imagination, in ideation or notion, and using names and forms like Prajapati to the insignificant creation in the world. Again and again, we will have to avidya kama karma vashat. Due to the avidya, the ignorance, we will be driven by the desires, kama karma, kama driven karma. So avidya is the reason for kama, and kama is driving us for karma. That is avidya, ignorance is driving us for the desire, thinking that is achievable. I can reach Brahmaloka, Vishnu Loka, Vaikunta, Krishna, Shiva. All those things are all imaginations of the mind. Avidya, kama, karma, vashat. Because of which samsarati, the cycle of repetition of birth and death will keep on happening. Sa evam samsaran upata dehendriya sangadam tyajati. And having gone through multiple types of birth and death in all these things from Brahmadi Stamba Paryandeshu, Dehendriya Sangadam, the agglomeration of body and the sense organs, in different bodies, in different sense organs are there, from the creature, insignificant creature, up to the Hiranyagarbha. All of them, Tyajati, once we will get fed up of this cycle of transmigration again and again. Tyaktva anyam upadatte. And then we will be coming to a state where we will looking for the means to disown the bodies and the sense organs which we are using again and again. Punah punaraiva evam nadi strota ava janma marana prabandha vichhedenena. Like the unending cycle of the river. Strota means flow of river. The river flows unendingly, goes to the ocean, it becomes cloud, again comes back as water and becomes a river and goes to the ocean, again comes back to the cycle. This is exactly how our samsaranam or our samsara is. Whether we want to fall as water drop in Manasa Sarovar, or whether we want to fall it in Ganges, or whether we want to fall it in the gutter, or in the dirty water accumulated in some pond, wherever we are, this cycle of rotation between the river, ocean, cloud, water again and again will continue. Vartamanaha kabihi vastabihir vartate ityedat artamaha darshananyanaha shruti vairagya apohate. Now, to show that this detachment is mandatory for getting out of the cycle of birth and death again, and for that we need to develop a vairagya, detachment. And that is the purpose of this story which has been told by the Upanishad in the beginning, and continuation of the story in the second chapter. How does the continuation in the second chapter happen? Let us look into the second chapter now. I am starting the chapter 2. So how does this say? Om Purushaye Hava Ayam Adite Garbha Bhavati Yadetat Dretatha. That is how we are to think that Purushe Hava Ayam Aditas Garbha Bhavati Yat Etat Retaha Tat Etat Sarvebhyaha Angebhyaha Tejaha Atmani Iva Atmanam Bhivarti Tad Yada Striyam Sinchati Ataha Enat Janayati Tat Asya Pratamam Janma. This is the first mantra. What does it say? We know a Purusha was shown for the Atma to enter. Now how does the story is continuing in the second chapter. So it is not mentioned in the Upanishad by the way. In the tradition, there is a saying that those who are talking this Upanishad or explaining this Upanishad will request all pregnant ladies who are listening to the second chapter, to please get up and go, and will be announced when they have to come back and sit. This is even now being followed by the matas, Shankara matas and other places where it is being done. There are there is a reason for it. There is also something we should understand from that. The reason why these ladies are asked to go out is the explanation of the pregnancy, how it is being formed, what is the purpose, how it is being done, and what happens to a person who develops detachment in the womb is explained in the second chapter. So they don't want ladies to listen, because in the tradition as well as even in modern science, it has been accepted that the child in the womb can hear after a certain period of pregnancy words and things spoken from outside. They can hear the sound, they can understand it, but they cannot be able to memorize it or use it. Some cases, some children will memorize it and use it. Those people are called those who are they're called prodigies. Those who are coming with that. Some children are not remembering it. So those are all ordinary people. So these things should be avoided, especially when the story of Vamadeva, which is being told in the second chapter, being a person who realized the purpose of how to stop the cycle of samsara in the womb itself. So why the acharyas are telling them not to do it nowadays this started some time back, not nowadays alone, is because even now people are thinking that a progeny is required for those who are doing yaga yajna as per the Veda. In the event the father is incapable of doing it, it is the son who will complete the yaga or yajna for the father. So if the son becomes a detached person and he doesn't follow the Veda Prakriya and follow the father's footstep for doing the Veda Karma, the purpose of pregnancy and getting a son which has been prayed by the father will not be fulfilled. To make that not happen, that masters are asking the ladies to go out until this second chapter is completed, and they are asked to come back after the second chapter is completed. The other aspect of what we have to understand from that is that there was an intervening period when ladies were not allowed to learn chanting and listening to Vedas, including Shankaracharya's period. And he also believed in it. Shankaracharya himself says in the Brihadaranya Upanishad last chapter, listening of Vedas are prohibited to ladies, because it was being in vogue during Shankaracharya's period. So he repeated the same thing. But one thing is very sure, during the Upanishad period time, there was no such prohibition for ladies to listen, because if the statement is for ladies to go out and come after the second chapter is done, is showing clearly that ladies were also studying the Upanishads and the Vedas. We have the examples of Gargi, Maitri, etc. in the Upanishads. So that is another aspect of this particular chapter. So I am explaining the mantras, keeping in mind the ladies have been asked to go out as per the tradition. So here what is in the mantra is saying that in a person, it is this semen which is retas, that which is the semen is the brilliance, becomes together with the limbs of the father. In the self indeed, one bears the self, one discharges this into woman, then the first birth take place. That is the time when the embryo is, fertilized. The fertilization of the embryo is the first birth in the number of counting. And here, all the limbs of the father is the vigor which is coming in the form of the semen and which is being deposited in the womb of the wife, and that is being absorbed by the womb without rejecting it, as if it is not a foreign body. It is being accepted by the womb. So this is, I'm not going by the word meaning, but as giving only summary of it. So this being now accepted into the womb of the body is the second mantra. Tat striyaha atma bhuyam gacchati yataha swayam angam tata tasmad enam na hinasti. So it goes from the man to the woman and becomes a self-being in the woman, as if its own its own limb or part of its own body. Therefore, it does not harm the womb. Otherwise, any foreign body inside a human body is rejected by the human body. But not this. This is being accepted by the woman's body as part of its own limb or part of its own body, and therefore itself and grows inside the womb, and the manner in which it is growing is she makes it to be as if part of her limb, and the woman bears the embryo. Tam striyam garbham bibharti. That is what is called the first birth. And saha evam kumaram janmano garbhe ya adi bhavayati. So he subsequently, both the father and the mother is now taking care of the father's self in the body of the mother by taking care of the pregnancy of the mother and nourishing the mother. The father brings the nourishment and feeds the mother. By nourishing the mother through her limb, this thing has his self, the father's self is now part of the mother's womb and body, limb, and it is being nourished by the mother, by mother being nourished by the father, and the child is born, and it becomes the second birth. The child which makes the form of the birth onwards indeed makes the self by extending to this world. When it comes to the world, it becomes the second birth. Thus extended these worlds is the second birth. That is coming out of mother's womb, detaching as part of the mother. Now he is independent self, not part of the mother's, not part of the father, and that is the second birth. Now this second birth, so the first birth is as the embryo, this one is the second birth, and then when the child grows and starts fulfilling the needs of the father's body starts withdrawing, becoming old and incapable of sustaining itself. And that father's body withers away. And when the father's body withers away, that Atma from that body, that Atma, that Jivatma will go through the cycle of the Agni Marga or the Chandra Marga and go to the Karma Phala. Whatever has to be achieved for the Pritruloka, Surgaloka, Devaloka, Brahmaloka, Prajapati Loka, or Patala, all those things, Karma Phalam. Based on the Karma Phala, that body goes to the different worlds after Shrine Punye, Martyalogam Vishanti. That is his third birth. So every person, not only the man, the women also, every person goes through three births. One as the embryo, number two as the real birth from the embryo, and the third is after the death. It goes through the karma phala, finishing all that, and takes the third birth. Third birth is coming back before entering the man through the food which he is consuming. That is the time when it takes the birth. It comes back as annam, to the surface of the world where the father consumes the food to become the semen again. So these are the three births for everything. So this cycle keeps on repeating and repeating and again. This is called samsara. I will stop this here and take the fifth mantra from the next class. The fifth mantra onwards, we'll have to develop that what is the Vairagya we have to develop and how Vamadeva developed the Vairagya. We will do it in the next class. Maybe next class we may be able to finalize both this chapter and the third chapter together. Om Vangme Manasi Pratishtita Mano Me Vachi Pratishtitam Aviravirmayedi Vedasya Ma Anistaha Shrutam Me Pa Prahasihi Anenadhite Dana Horatran Santatami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tat Vaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti 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 Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyavada.